Lee Min-ho's parents officially welcome Song Hye Kyo with open arms. One visit changed everything, and what happened inside the family estate has fans crying across the globe. It was supposed to be just another quiet day. No cameras. No reporters. No social media alerts. No rumors. Just silence, the kind that had followed Song Hye Kyo ever since the breakup shook the world. But that silence didn't last long. Because today, everything changed. After weeks of heartbreak and confusion, Song Hye Kyo was seen arriving at Lee Min-ho's family home. She stepped out of a dark car slowly, her eyes covered by sunglasses, her hands carefully holding a small white envelope. No manager. No press team. No bodyguard. Just her. The house she once visited as his partner. The house where everything started. And now, she was standing in front of it again. Not for him. But for something bigger. Something deeper. Family. The unexpected invitation. It began with a message. A quiet one. No public post. No official statement. Just a short handwritten note sent to Song Hye Kyo's agency. It was from Lee Min-ho's mother. The message read, "Come when you are ready. The door will be open. You're still part of this family. And always will be." At first, Song Hye Kyo hesitated. She wasn't sure what to expect. After the breakup, she had stayed away. Far from the noise. Far from Seoul. Far from him. But not far from their memories. She never spoke badly of him. Not once. She just disappeared. But this invitation was different. And after 3 days of silence, she finally said yes. The arrival and the moment that broke the internet. As she walked up to the gate, her steps were slow. Her face unreadable. But those who saw her that day said one thing: she looked like she was carrying everything. The past. The hope. The heartbreak. And inside the gate, waiting under a small tree, Lee Min-ho's mother. She didn't wait for her to knock. She ran to her. No words. Just a hug. A long one. And that was the beginning of what would become the most beautiful, unexpected reunion the K-drama world had ever seen. The door opened. The past didn't matter anymore. Only the present did. The family meeting and the photos that said everything. Inside the house, the living room was the same. Nothing had changed. The same brown furniture. The same family photos. The same scent of sea breeze and homemade rice cakes. Lee Min-ho's father stood near the fireplace. He didn't speak immediately. He simply looked at her. And then, he smiled. "You came home," he said. Those 3 words traveled across Korea like wildfire. A staff member from the family's kitchen later revealed that Lee Min-ho's father had never smiled like that since the breakup. Not once. Until that moment. He invited her to sit down. Tea was served. And the envelope in her hand? She finally gave it to them. Inside. Photos. Ultrasound photos. 3 of them. The baby they thought they might never meet. "You are not alone," the promise that brought everyone to tears. Lee Min-ho's mother took the photos and started to cry. Quietly. She looked at Song Hye Kyo and said, "You are not doing this alone. Not now. Not ever." Song Hye Kyo smiled. But only for a second. Because the moment was so heavy. So real. The father looked at the pictures again. He touched the one where the baby's tiny feet were showing. And he said softly, "Tell my son, he still has a place here. Whether he knows it or not." Lee Min-ho finds out. While all of this was happening, Lee Min-ho was still abroad. Still recovering. Still quiet. But someone sent him the news. It was his younger cousin. She sent a photo. A blurry one, taken from inside the house. In it, Song Hye Kyo was standing with his parents. Holding tea in one hand, and smiling for the first time in weeks. Lee Min-ho didn't respond to the photo. But 30 minutes later, he booked a flight home. He didn't tell anyone. He just came. The return and the moment everyone was waiting for. He arrived the next day. The same car. The same driveway. The same nerves. And when the door opened, he stepped inside. At first, it was just his parents in the living room. But when he turned around, there she was. Song Hye Kyo, standing at the staircase. Neither of them said anything at first. But their eyes did. And then, he walked over. He didn't touch her. He just stood close and whispered, "I'm sorry." She looked up at him. And replied, "So am I." The family dinner that melted the nation. That evening, the four of them had dinner together. Rice. Seaweed soup. Kim Kai. Warm food. Warm hearts. No cameras. No pressure. At one point, Lee Minute-ho's father raised a toast. Not with wine. Just with water. He looked at Song Hye Kyo and said, "To the baby. And to second chances." She nodded. Lee Minute-ho smiled. And across the table, his mother silently held her hand. The garden walk and the question that changed everything. Later that night, Song Hye Kyo and Lee Minute-ho stepped outside. The stars were bright. The wind was soft. And for a while, they didn't speak. Until he turned to her and asked, "Are you still wearing the ring?" She looked down at her hand. And then back at him. "I was waiting to know if I should take it off." He took a deep breath. "Don't. The world finds out." The next morning, a photo leaked. Not taken by paparazzi, but by Lee Minute-ho's own mother. It was posted to a private group chat, but someone shared it. It showed the couple standing in the backyard garden, side by side. No kissing. No drama. Just standing close. Her scarf gently blowing in the wind. His hand resting near hers. And the caption, "We're not going backward. We're starting again." The photo exploded online. Fans went wild. Comments poured in. "I'm crying. This is the best thing I've seen all year." They needed time. And they found their way back. The parents did what the world couldn't. They brought them home. What comes next? As of now, Lee Minute-ho and Song Hye Kyo have not made any public statements. There's no talk of a wedding. No press tour. No new drama. But sources close to the family say one thing for sure. They are together again. They are healing. And this time, they're doing it quietly. With the baby. With each other. And with the two people who welcomed them back when it mattered most, his parents. "We never stopped loving each other," Song Hye Kyo and Lee Minute-ho rebuild quietly with his parents by their side. The world had moved on. At least, it thought it had. New headlines had taken over. New faces were trending. New dramas were being released. But somewhere beneath the noise, beneath the fast-paced chaos of the entertainment world, two people were still writing their story, not with cameras, not with fame, but with silence. And it all started again, not with a kiss, not with a ring, but with a visit to a house on a hill. A love that didn't die, it just got quiet. It had been weeks since Lee Minute-ho left. Since the hospital incident. Since she told him not to come. Since she cried alone with a heartbeat inside her and memories she couldn't switch off. And still, she hadn't spoken about him. Not in interviews. Not to friends. Not even in private. Because some stories hurt too much to explain. But his mother had reached out. And somehow, walking through that door felt easier than speaking to him. But nothing could have prepared her for what she found inside. She didn't find judgment. She didn't find pity. She found warmth. She found love that never chose sides. And most of all, she found space to feel again. They didn't ask about the breakup. They asked about the baby. That's what one source revealed after Song Hye Kyo's emotional visit to Lee Minute-ho's family home. There were no questions about what went wrong. No blame. No judgment. They just asked how the baby was. They wanted to know what she needed. What made her smile. They wanted her to feel safe. And slowly, for the first time in a long time, she did. Lee Minute-ho's mother reportedly spent hours with her in the garden, showing her old photos, pointing out which tree Minute-ho used to fall asleep under as a child, and preparing herbal soup she hadn't made in years. She didn't speak much, the housekeeper said, but she looked softer. Brighter. And then, the knock came. He came back, but he didn't come to talk. He didn't arrive with flowers. He didn't dress like a drama lead. He didn't bring promises. Lee Minute-ho came back like a man who'd been humbled by distance. He walked in, saw her sitting at the piano, paused, and whispered, "I never stopped loving you." She didn't answer right away. She simply played a single note, and then another, until he sat beside her, and rested his hand not on hers but on the side of the piano bench. They sat like that for minutes. Two people who had broken apart, and were slowly finding the shape of each other again. "Don't say sorry. Just stay." That was the first full sentence she said to him. They were in the kitchen. His mother had stepped out. The soup was still hot. He tried to explain, tried to apologize again. But she shook her head. "We've both cried enough. I don't need words anymore. I just need time. I just need you to stay." And he did. That night, for the first time in weeks, he stayed. Not in her room. Not beside her. But in the room next door. Where he could hear her breathe. And where, for the first time since everything broke, she didn't cry. A morning walk that felt like a new beginning. The next morning, the two were seen walking together along the path behind the family home. Not holding hands. Not talking. Just walking. Matching pace. The kind of quiet that only comes from people who know each other too well. At one point, he reached for a fallen blossom and handed it to her. She tucked it behind her ear. And smiled. And that's when the housekeeper took the photo. A quiet, beautiful shot. Posted by the family's niece. Captioned, "Some love stories don't restart with fireworks. Just footsteps." It trended in under an hour. A family that believes in second chances. Later that week, Lee Minute-ho's parents hosted a small dinner. No press. No friends. Just the four of them. There was music. There was laughter. And at one point, Song Hye Kyo got up to help in the kitchen, and his mother wouldn't let her. "You've done enough," she told her. "This time, we serve you." That night, Lee Minute-ho toasted to her health. And to the baby. No long speech. Just a soft, simple, "You brought me home. I'll spend the rest of my life making sure you never feel alone again." She didn't cry. She just held his hand under the table. And this time, she didn't let go.